welcome to episode 6 of the boat restoration series. So, as you might have seen, in episode 5 we removed the rotten section of the rub rail. We also got to work on the stern deck planks, removed those, we took those all up, and then had a closer look at the cross supports for those deck planks. So the great thing I've noticed about this kind of repair work is the rotten piece you've taken off previously, that length of timber is your template for this new piece. So if you've done everything right, exactly the same, it should fit into place perfectly. It's so rewarding actually putting that in place. While we're fitting this section of timber, you can see that the diagonal mahogany fits perfectly up into that cutout, and then it just sits down on the oak uprights. So the piece we just put in place allow for the deck cross supports to screw into. So my uncle called out and then helped us with the repair work on the stern, and it just goes to show you how quick you can get things done when you collectively work together, and it's so satisfying to see the end result. The previous owners of the boat before my parents, they did some repair work to the actual deck planks and to the actual deck supports as well. So we noticed in some places where the original deck supports were, we seen there was extra support pieces put in, and they were just secured into the original deck supports. And the funny thing is, the new support pieces deteriorated and rotted quicker than the original deck supports. Before I put any of the deck planks in place, I applied a coat of aluminium based wood primer to all the timbers, and this just helps weatherproof it and helps repel any moisture. On the original deck supports, where let's say it might have been a little soft near the top, we just put in a little wood hardener and that solved that problem, because they're all intact, and it was just like a small edge on one or two of them that was kind of soft. And the actual structure of the support piece was 100% pretty much. Didn't see a need to actually replace it, and anywhere that we seen it needed extra support, we just put in an extra piece of wood. So prior to all this footage, my dad and I called down to my uncle Peter's, who actually builds beautiful wooden fishing boats in Mullaghmore. So we actually helped him put copper rivets in a mermaid sailing boat that he restored. So it was a great learning experience, and there was definitely plenty of knowledge I could take away and apply to the actual boat that we're restoring here, because with the hole in the bow, it's going to need some rivets, and they're all done with the traditional, copper rivets system. So we'll definitely be putting those skills to use. So with each deck plank, I made sure to dry fit them together first without using any Tech 7, and this just gave me that extra sense of security, and I felt more confident then when I was putting them down permanently and fixing them to the deck supports. So the timber that we're using for the deck planking is cedar. It's an American cedar, and it really is a lovely timber. I love the grain and texture of it. The only downside is that we got a tongue and groove. The tongue and groove is probably just a little too wide. Unfortunately, fitting this together and putting it in place, the edge has cracked. The actual lip of the groove is cracked near the surface. I did apply plenty of Tech 7, it secured it in place, and then I sanded over that again. So anywhere that the timber is actually bossed, it sanded down flush. I think from now on, we're going to start using teak from now on. We're going to source some good teak and use that for any of the remaining deck repair work and the actual deck planking, just because it's probably a little too soft for our needs, and especially for going with a wider tongue and groove. So in the end, despite the deck planks actually cracking a little bit, I'm really satisfied with how it turns out. It looks really nice, and there's a little bit more work to actually do around the stern kind of section, around the back of the boat, where the deck planks aren't actually cut flush. So apart from that, we'll move up onto the next section of planking that needs replacing, and probably on the right hand side of the bow needs a bit of work. So we'll have a look at that in the next episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little different, some narration, hopefully it was a little bit more interesting and not too boring. And if you did enjoy the video, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, leave a like. We'll see you guys in the next video. As always guys, stay productive and have fun creating.